I take cash. You think you cracking, but it won't last. You fool me once, you do it twice, then the joke's on me. You live and learn to live, so take this game from me. She had the one, but she just couldn't see. Now I'm in the wind, blowing with the breeze. Now you can.
So whenever you're ready,
we outside, man. Oceanside's in the house. North County, stand up. YT West. Make sure y'all tap in.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you for being on the show tonight. Thank you for being on this episode of Around the Loop. And this one's gonna be like no other. I got a phenomenal man here, a myth, a legend. He's out here too. And I say that legend, people are like, oh, what do you mean legend? And you got to take that, and appreciate that, because I learned like everybody is a legend. Everybody is making their word out there. Everybody's making their music. They're grinding hard. You deserve that recognition.
Much love.
You deserve it. It's much love, and I appreciate it.
Much love.
And thank you for being on tonight's show. So I wanted to let everybody introduce everybody about yourself. I basically just tell the world, tell the people around the loop who you are, for the people that are meeting you for the first time.
YT West, man, Oceanside representative, you know what I'm saying? North County, stand up. You know, we've been doing this music stuff for a minute, you know what I'm saying? We got some things going on. We just had an album release party. You know what I'm saying? We just got a lot of stuff that's in motion. The grind don't stop. We're going to stay consistent with this. If you don't know who I am, you're going to know by the end of this video.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate everybody that's tapped in. Appreciate everybody that's tapping in. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of stuff going on. So just stay tuned.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I wanted to ask you, let's start with the artist name. Where did that originate from?
So YT came from my pops, man, because my pops is G-Tall.
Okay.
He does music as well, you know what I'm saying? Wow. And so the YT came as Young Tall, you know what I mean? Like just the younger version of
that's dope. Okay.
You know what I mean? Young Tall. That's what the YT stands for. And I threw the West behind there because, you know, I'm from the West, you know what I'm saying? And also just when I started putting my music on all the platforms and everything, there was other YTs. Like you had a YT Triz, you had different other YT names, you know what I mean? And so I just threw the West behind it, you know what I'm saying? And it makes sense, you know what I'm saying? So that's how the YT West came about, though. I used to just go by YT, you know what I'm saying, until you know what I'm saying, we started doing the music and taking it a little bit more serious and dropping it on platforms. But yep, that's where the name came from.
So music has been running in your life for forever, or has it?
Yeah, man, I've been doing, like, music started for me real young, because like my pops, my uncle, all his homies and everybody, they do music. And my pops had a record label. Oh, wow. Fourth Wave Records is the name of his record label. Okay. And, you know, I just growing up around that, I was always around it. I was always in the room with them or just around it when they was making music, making beats, recording, whatever. I've always been around it. And I even made my first song when I was 5. My pops had made...
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was me, my cousins, and, you know, a few of my relatives that we was all group. And, yeah, we was rapping, man. We made a whole Christmas album. I made songs, and I made my first song when I was 5, yeah, for real.
Hey, that's big props right there.
It's dope, man. It's dope. I've been doing music forever, basically.
Wow, no, and
hell yeah.
That's amazing. And I wanted to ask you, so... Wow, you did your first Christmas album, and then from there on, did you start performing, doing like performances at like in school talent shows or anything, or when did you start doing your like first performance?
It's crazy. I had my first performance when I was probably like 6 or 7. It was part of when we was the Fourth Wave Records. When we was part of that record label, my pops as kids, we was called the Fourth Wave Kids, Dub Kids.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was called Faux Dub Kids. So, yeah, I was probably like 6 or 7. How the show worked was we had to like, it was about 3 groups that performed. And whoever got first place was going on TV. And we got second place. We lost to like a rock band. But it was cool, though. It was my first performance, you know what I'm saying?
Dope.
Yeah, it was dope. And then there was another time I had a spot. There was a spot in Esco. It shut down. This was actually the building right here. But they changed the building. Yeah. It was called the Metaphor. Whatchamacallit? I was probably like 9 or 10. Yeah, so I mean, like, the mic and the stage ain't nothing new to me, really. You know what I mean? I've been doing music for as long as I can remember. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much your whole life right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So I love this.
So I wanted to ask you too. Well, I know it might sound like a dumb question, but I have to ask. the big influences in your life for how you started your style of music? Well, obviously your pops and your family members, but is there any other people that you can mention that really molded you for your voice, or did you just come up? How did you come with your own voice? That's
so,
my question.
Like my pops, he had a big influence on that. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the music that we just played around the house, you know what I mean? That had a big influence. And then just me being outside, just stuff I would see and go through, that's the type of music that I write. But like me being influenced by somebody, I listen to a lot of E40.
Okay.
I listen to a lot of E40. E40 is my #1 artist, dead or alive. You know what I mean? I bump E40 from all the way back to the Mr. Flamboyance and all that. You know what I mean?
Like, I love E40.
So I got a lot of my influence from him. And, Tupac, of course, old school Snoop Dogg.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Nipsey, one of my top 3 too as well. I feel like that's where a lot of my style, my sound came from. And just being outside, man. And then I just feel like I can do music, you know what I mean? Not just rap, so I take it in from everywhere. It can be country, it can be rap, it can be R&B, it can be whatever. I'm gonna take something from it.
And you just mentioned R&B. You just dropped your first R&B, right?
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yep. Rhythm and Blues is out now, all platforms.
We just dropped that on Valentine's Day. So you guys can tap in.
We just had an album release party. It was dope. I got some music videos out. The album's dope, man. It didn't take me too long to do it.
Yeah.
It was just an idea that I told myself I needed to have some R&B on my resume. I feel like every artist should just have a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? I want to show people I'm versatile, you know what I mean? And I can do more than just rap, you know what I mean? And so with the rhythm and blues, I wasn't doing like a lot, like singing and all that type of stuff.
Like no Chris Brown singing.
I wasn't doing no Chris Brown, no Usher, none of that. But
it was good.
It was just what I was talking about. I was trying to get more of the females' attention. You know what I mean? I feel like I got a lot of the homies, fellas, dudes, whatever you want to call them, you know what I mean, that bump my music.
Yes.
But I'm trying to attract more of the females, you know what I'm saying? So with this one, I felt like that was the main goal, you know what I mean? And I got the homegirl on there, you know what I mean?
That's awesome.
It's dope, you know what I mean?
That's awesome. So I wanted to ask as well, like, you're talking about tapping in a little bit of different genres. Is there something next you're gonna dive into that you can let the people know, or maybe just stay tuned for that?
I'm just a music guy, you know what I mean? I'm a hip hop rap artist, you know what I mean? I don't just rap though, I do music, you know what I mean? So you don't really know what to expect, you know what I mean? But I'm not too crazy or diving into anything else that's not based around hip hop, you know what I mean?
Which would make sense.
Yeah. I'm not gonna like, you won't see me doing country. You know what I mean? You won't, I don't know. Just in my opinion, as of right now, you won't see me doing that.
Not
yet.
Like,
I feel like I'm having fun with this music right now, you know what I mean?
That's good.
I'm just having fun, and I feel like that's when I make the best music, I'm not really thinking about the music too much. I'm just letting it come to me.
And how would you describe a perfect day when it comes to like recording and just having your, like, what would you describe a good day that's like, I can just get to the studio or wherever you record and just get to it and be at
peace? It's cool because I got the studio at the crib.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So nice. I can record at the crib or I go to the homie who got the professional studio. You know what I mean? So a perfect day for me though is getting up, making sure I get all the hygiene and everything taken care of. That's most important. And I got to make sure I'm just in that good vibe. I'll get up, go to the studio, play some beats, roll some blunts, and then I just let the beat talk to me. You know what I mean? That's really what I do. I let the beat talk to me. That's how like the song will be made. You know what I mean? I try to get the hook out the way first, so then it gives me a concept. You know what I mean? Then I'll get my verses out the way.
And when it comes to making hooks, I mean, is it dependent on the beat? That sometimes it's a little harder, it just takes a little longer, or is it just kind of like
with the hooks? It's really dependent on the beat. Yeah, it depends on the beat. I feel like sometimes the hooks it'll take me a little bit longer to make because I want them to be. It's like the cherry on top of the song. I feel like, in my opinion, at least, because that's the most part. That's the part that's gonna get played the most.
That's
you know
exactly
what I mean.
True.
So I try to make sure that thing is hitting. You know what I mean? I want it to be catchy. I want it to be like just where it's repetitive in your head. You know what I mean? Where it's like you're not even listening to the song, but you hear it in your head, type of thing. that's why I'll spend a little bit more time on the hook than I'll do on my verses. I try to make it all make sense, you know what I mean? But I love the process of it. That's how I'll do the beat, get the beat, let the beat talk to me, hook, verse, boom.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Go shoot that video. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, and how's your process with shooting videos? Like, how would you, for somebody that wants to start shooting videos one day, or somebody that says, you know, wants to get into the music scene too, like, what's some pointers or some advice you can give to people?
I'm gonna definitely send you the song first, so you can try to come up with some ideas yourself. You know what I mean?
I dig that. Okay.
I'm gonna come ready. I'm gonna come with some plans.
Okay.
I'll come with some ideas. You know what I mean? Like the locations and stuff like that. The extras, if we need any extras, I'll do stuff like that. But on the cameraman side, I just need you to bring your equipment.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Your lights, and you know what I mean? Just bring your brain, you know what I mean? Because we're going to be doing some thinking where we try to make things add up, you know what I mean? Because I want to make a movie, you know what I mean? At the same
I was going to ask you about it, because I've noticed it on your music videos. Some of them are almost like, they're cinematic.
Yeah, man. I don't like, I'm not just going to stand in one spot and shoot, you know what I mean? Like, I'll do that sometimes, but that's not really the move, you know what I mean? That's not the move. But when it comes to videos, I definitely like to have them planned out. I don't want to just freestyle the music videos, you know what I mean? I don't like to do that all the time. They got to have some type of concept to it.
True.
Just like the song, you know what I mean? I don't want to just rap about anything. We got to be talking about something, you know what I mean? And so that's how that goes.
So when it comes down to your music process, because some people write their stuff down, and some people are just like straight off the head. They just straight off the head, out the soul and stuff like that, and they just punch in. I mean, how do you usually do your music?
I write, bro.
Okay, good. Okay.
I write. I used to freestyle a lot back in the day, like high school days and stuff like that. Maybe a little bit.
Yes, sir.
But nowadays I'm writing. You know what I mean? I feel like it just comes together better, you know what I mean, in my opinion.
I see.
I'll maybe be in the studio, you know what I'm saying, and I'll be freestyling to like get the verse down.
Okay,
and if I say something dope, I'll completely stop and make sure I write that down.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
that.
I'll do stuff like that, but I'm not just gonna be like, throw the beat on, I'm gonna get in there and just off the top homie right now. No, I'm not doing that. I ain't doing that. We're going in there with something written down.
No, that's good. That's good, because at least you're organized and you got a structure and everything.
My engineer know, man. Shout out to the homie Jacob John. He know when I get up in there, I am not playing around. And we doing like 4-5 songs at a time.
That's what I'm talking about.
He already know what's up.
Yes, sir. Yeah, shout out to Jacob John. I did that.
Yeah, he know what's up.
Phenomenal man. He really is. Shout out to Soul Shakedown Studios.
Yeah, shout out to Soul Shakedown Studios, man. Dopest studio in North County.
Really is. Shout out to Balance too. He just really started working with Jacob John, so he's out there doing sound engineering as well.
Yes,
so
sir.
Hit up Balance as well if you guys need him as well. And so I want to talk a little bit about your early childhood days. Like how was life growing up? How was life growing up out here?
Life was regular, bro. You know what I mean? You know, regular stuff, ups and downs, you know what I mean? Squabbles here and there.
Yes, sir.
Getting into trouble, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. It was fun though, honestly, in my opinion, you know what I mean? Obviously, if I can, I'll be a kid again. You feel me?
No, I definitely.
It was cool, you know what I mean? It was rough. I used to get into it with, you know, the Hispanic gangs a lot because, you know, I'm black. But you know what I mean? It is what it is. I would get into it with a lot of people. My own people, you know what I'm saying? White folks, Hispanics, Asians, whatever. You'll get into it with everybody, you know what I mean? It don't matter, you know what I mean? It's just the way of life sometimes. That's just how it works. But other than that, man, we stood tall. We still here, you know what I mean? Ain't no dirt on my name, you feel me? We good. Growing up, it was cool. I played a little bit of football. I played some basketball.
Okay.
With the music too as well, you know what I mean? I remember you asked me earlier, you said some talent shows. I didn't really do too much talent shows. But my teacher in middle school, he would make me rap in class.
Really?
Yeah, he would make me rap in class. He'll make me stand up in class and rap, you know what I mean?
In front of everybody.
In front of everybody. Shout out Mr. Bashel. He used to make me do that.
Big props to him. Hey, pushing you that far.
Yeah, because of him, it actually kind of molded me who I am, like to the point where I don't care what nobody say, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like, who cares?
That's what's up.
You know what I mean? So shout out to the middle school teacher. You feel me for that?
That's an inspiration.
But it was, you know, it was cool. It was cool growing up. It was regular.
Okay. And
can't complain.
I wanted to ask. besides music, what else do you do?
We right here at Taylor Cuz Barbershop at Escondido right now, you feel me? If y'all see the QR code, y'all can hit that link, hit that QR code, and you can book. I'm a barber / cosmetologist.
Hey,
so,
there we go.
You know what I mean? We cut hair, we do music, you know, we do it all.
So let's talk a little bit about that. What got you into becoming a barber?
Shout out to my family member. He's like my family member, relative, Taper Tage.
Shout out to him.
Homie been cutting my hair since I was young.
Okay.
And
he's one of your, he inspired that.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's
and
amazing.
Just like, you know, the way he grew up and kind of the way I grew up, it got some similarities to it. And so, you know, when I would just go get my hair cut by him, he would tell me like, hey, bro, go to barber school. You know what I'm saying? If you can sell some weed, you can cut some hair.
True.
Literally, straight up. And so I took that and ran with it. But it took me a while to take it and run with it because that was like way back in the day when he first started telling me about cutting hair and stuff. But it took me like 3-4 years after me and him had that conversation to actually push and go to school for it.
I see.
Because, you know, I just never did any research or anything like that. I was just like, okay, if this don't work, then this is what I'm going to do type of thing. You know what I mean? And so one of my boys had stayed with me at the time. And he just told me like, hey, bro, let's go to barber school. And I was like, nigga, I've been saying I was going to do that for the past, you know what I mean? For the past couple years, let's go. And so we went, got our L's, and now I'm here today.
And for people that are curious that want to get into the barber school and stuff like that, because some people, you know, they start cutting hair on their own. It's either from some event or some inspiration. And for the folks that are trying to find a school out here, what kind of advice can you give them for people that are actually trying to find you can say a proper school, not one of those bullshit ass schools?
Just do your research, man. I went to a school called Bella's Academy in Poway.
Okay.
They're big on the cosmetology part. They have a barbering program, but they're big on cosmetology. You're gonna learn how to cut hair, but in my personal opinion, I would definitely practice outside of school. You know what I mean? Because when you go to school, their main thing is to teach you how to get your license, not teaching you how to cut hair. So there's a big difference. When you go to school, they're going to teach you how to get your license, that piece of paper.
Yes, sir.
But not really how to cut hair. You know what I mean? This is not for all schools.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This is just like, you know, this is for the schools out there. There's a lot of them that are like that.
Okay.
So just make sure you put that work in, you know what I'm saying, when you go home. No matter what school you're going to go to, there's going to be some ups and downs. So, you know what I mean? Just stay locked in and focus on what you're there for and get up out of there.
Yes.
Because when I went to school, it was like freaking high school all over again. It was crazy. You know what I mean?
I can imagine
it was drama.
Yeah, I was going to say the drama
teachers just fucking with the students, messing with the students. I'm telling you, it's cracking. It's going up. I ain't going to lie, I had a blast at Bella's Academy. I had a blast. But, yeah, man, just make sure you go there and do what you're supposed to do. They gonna get you that piece of paper as long as you was there for attendance.
Yes.
But make sure that you was practicing really how to cut hair outside of that barber school.
So it's important to build that portfolio.
Man,
make sure you take all your pictures, videos,
Don't wait to get out of barber school either to promote. Promote yourself while you in barber school. You already in, you know what I'm saying, no man's land. You know what I'm saying? You're already out there with the sharks once you in barber school. You know what I'm saying? So just go all in, straight up.
No, I appreciate that because I know how it is to. So did you start cutting hair before you got your?
It's crazy because I didn't. Nope.
Really?
I ain't.
Oh,
nope.
shit, okay.
I ain't cut no hair, bro, until I remember it was like the second or third day of barber school. The homie who I went to barber school with, I would watch YouTube videos, but I never picked up no clippers yet, never.
Okay.
And the homie had a full head of hair. The homie had a full head of hair. Shout out to the homie Lonely Boy. Homie had a full head of hair. And I remember it was like the second or third day. I think we watched some videos. We got some equipment. Something happened. But we didn't do no cutting at school, no nothing. We get to the crib. Homie's just excited.
Yes.
He's like, cut my hair. I'm like, you sure you want me to cut your hair, bro? Like, I don't know if I'm ready. He's like, you've been watching YouTube videos, haven't you? I was like, all right. So then I'm starting to cut, and I remember he was like, you're not going to pull out your phone and watch the YouTube video? I was like, nah, homie, I got this. Long story short, the homie had a head full of hair. I remember that day earlier at school, we was washing each other hair. You know what I mean? So the girls the next day is telling him, I'm going to wash your hair. He like, bet. The next day, homie go to school, he bald. I cut him completely bald. My first haircut, the homie had a full head of hair and he was bald. I'm talking about to the scalp, bald. That was my first haircut ever.
Oh, I feel you on that one.
We came a long way, man.
I give you props on that, honestly. I know how that is.
Hey, shout out to the homie who let me did that to him. Shout out to the homie Lonely.
No, shout out to him, honestly.
Straight up.
Shout out to the homies too that let me practice on their head when I was cutting hair back in the day. I was cutting hair back in the day.
That shit is comedy.
It is, especially like being in the service when you're cutting hair too. Like you're cutting hair in the barracks too, and it's like you set up your little setup and everything, and it's practice. It's practice, and I mean. After a while, the haircuts get real clean.
Yeah, bro. The more heads you cut, the better you're gonna get. The better you're gonna get, the more you cut. I don't care how many videos you watch. Cut more heads so you can get better.
The experience. And I wanted to ask, what about what about your journey with the straight razoring?
Oh, I love it, bro.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that because I've never asked that question to other barbers. I didn't get to ask that at Taper, but with the straight razoring, because I remember talking to my mentor back in the day, he was telling me, he was like, hey man, like, you know, if you're gonna practice straight razor, you need to practice on yourself first.
Yeah.
And oh man, that was a fun experience.
Yeah, bro. I remember in barber school when I was teaching us how to use a straight razor. At first, I was scared. I was scared.
I feel it too.
I got the hang of it. You know what I'm saying? It's easy, at least to me now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I cut the homie before. I've cut the homie like right here on, you know what I'm saying, on his beard, trying to line him up. But it wasn't like something crazy. He was bleeding all over the place. It was just a little cut, but you'll get it, bro. You gotta be confident. That's just what it is with the hair cutting, with the clipper, the razor, the shears, the whatever. You gotta just be confident. Okay. If you're confident, bro, it's gonna come to you. Yes, and even with the straight razor, you just gotta stretch the skin the opposite way. If I'm cutting down, I'm pulling the skin up. You know what I mean? So that's the way to do that.
I wanted to ask, have you had any ever situations where you're cutting hair and maybe one of the guards fell off on accident and it fucking actually nicked the person's hair?
Nah, okay, I haven't had that yet. I've had it where the guard fell off, but I noticed before I actually cut. You know what I mean? But nah, I remember it was like my I got a shop story. It was like my first week here. You know what I mean? I cut this kid, and the kid loved the cut. You know what I mean? But at the same, his mom didn't speak English, and the kid, like he wanted a haircut. He wanted the comb over. He wanted a comb over.
Yes, I see.
And with the part and everything.
Yeah, the hard part right there.
And I remember I cut his hair, and his mom went next door to get her nails done or something. And I remember when I cut his hair, he said he loved it. But then he went next door to get the money from his mom. Him and his mom came back, and she drilled me. She cussed me out because she wanted a slick back, not the comb over. I remember she drilled me. Yes. I was like, oh, snap. It was my first week in the shop. I didn't know really how to handle it. I knew how to handle it because I've been cussed out before, but I ain't been cussed out as a barber before. You know what I mean? So that's a big difference. I'm being cussed out by somebody's mom, you know what I mean, over her son's haircut. That's a big thing, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I never seen them again. But, you know, we good now. We good, man.
So, let's get back at it. Okay, so, your music journey. I see that you're going on tour. Is this your first time touring? Is it not?
This is my first time like hitting multiple dates in a matter of time. You know what I mean? I've traveled other places for shows. Like I've been to Texas before for a show.
How was that?
It was dope, bro. It was dope. Yeah? It was me and my partner A1 Beans, who we finna go on tour with right now. It was dope, bro. It was dope. I just like the experience of going to new places. It was definitely a culture shock because it was a lot of my people. I really ain't around a lot of my people like that. You know what I mean? In North County, there's not a lot of black people, you know what I mean, like there is, you know what I mean, when you go to like LA or other places like that. So for me, I was like, oh, this is cracking. You know what I mean? It was dope. It was dope, for real. I've been to other places, you know, for some shows, but like I said, not like a tour where it's like 3, 4, 5 plus dates in a matter of time, you know what I mean? Like I ain't done that.
That's
so
crazy,
this right here, right now, that me and A1 Beans finna do is gonna be dope. So we got, we just knocked out the Valentine's Day Rhythm and Blues release party.
Yes.
Which we did on Valentine's Day. Now we got Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
We finna open up for Phoenix Flexing in Phoenix, March 8th. Then we got, I think we in Hollywood.
Oh, shit, okay.
March 23rd. I think we in Hollywood, March 23rd.
All right.
Then next month.
Mm-hmm.
No. What is it? April. We back in Texas again.
Oh, shit, all right.
We're going to be in Austin and another spot. I think Dallas. Yeah,
Dallas,
Austin and Dallas.
Right
Austin
there.
and Dallas.
Yes,
yeah, and then we got more days coming soon, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be dope, bro. It's going to be dope. Shout out to the homie A1 Beans, man. I've been rocking with my fella for a minute.
Yes,
we
sir.
taking over 2025 takeover. Shout out to my boy Too Much Finesse, because he going to be right there with us
Shout out to him, too.
You know what I'm saying?
He was looking forward
2025 takeover. Everybody know what's up, man. Oceanside Stand Up. We in the house.
There we go. Got to represent, show the love and everything out here. And like I said, I really appreciate, you taking your time and being out here on this episode of Around the Loop. I really appreciate
man. I appreciate you having me, man, for sure.
No, it was great. It was great, conversating with you. It was great catching up and getting to know you.
Oh, yeah, for
and for
sure.
the people out on Around the
Shout
World.
out to the people.
Yes,
shout out to the people.
If you guys want to tap in, I'm going to put the link in the bio so you guys can check them out on Apple, Spotify,
YouTube, all platforms. Pandora.
All platforms. We'll put it on all platforms.
All platforms.
So
everywhere.
Tap in.
Instagram, YT West 2319. TikTok, YT West 2319.
Yes, sir.
Facebook, YT West. Snapchat, YT Dub. YT West, man.
There we go.
We outside.
There we go. And like I said, just 2 questions before we wrap it up tonight. I wanted to ask, if you were to see the younger version of yourself right in front of you right now, what would you tell that younger self? What advice
I would
you
just
give
tell my younger self to stay focused, man. Don't lose no hope. You know what I mean? No matter what is going on, no matter what is going on at that period of time, just keep pushing. I seen some today. They said 95% of your life is what happens. The other 5 is how you react to it. You know what I mean? So that 5% is real strong. Well, how you gonna react to it? You know what I mean? You're gonna deal with anything. Just how you gonna react to it. Stay 10 toes, stay strong, and don't fold. Straight up.
I appreciate that advice. And one more final thing, one more final piece of advice. But this is for everybody, for around the world, everybody and anybody. What advice can you give to the people of around the world, around the loop and everything?
The advice I can give to everybody around the world is just to never give up. Stay chasing your dreams. You know what I'm saying? No matter what the outside world is going to tell you, they're only telling you that because they can't do it or they ain't never going to do it. You know what I mean? Or they just don't believe in themselves. So don't let nobody else's negativity weigh on yours. You feel me? Just stay positive and keep going.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for being on
Appreciate
tonight's
you
episode
having me,
of
bro. Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
And that's a wrap.
That was dope.
No matter who I meet, I've had a boyfriend, but I want to break up with him because I love you, and I'm literally never stop loving you. It pisses me off. Why isn't anyone I meet like you? You're so different. Why? But I still want you so much. I'm drunk. I think about you. You don't know that I drank, but I started drinking. I do eat. I'm toxic. I love you. I'll never stop loving you.